the Beatles, the Fantastic Four. A father and a daughter were having a friendly conversation at a record shop in a large-scale bookstore. There is a variety of music in the world. K-pop is good, but would you like to try foreign pop music as well? Yes, Dad. Show me a good singer. The dad replied loudly in excitement. The representative of pop singers can't be anyone other than the Beatles. So the daughter got a record of this strange-named singer, the Beatles. So who on earth is the Beatles that a dad would readily recommend to his daughter? As a matter of fact, the Beatles is not a single singer's name. It was the name of a rock and roll band that was made in Britain in 1960. Band means a group of musicians who either play different types of instruments, like guitar or drums, or sing. Rock and roll means a type of music that is strong, fast, and enthusiastic. It was the most loved music by the young people of the 1950s to the 1960s. The number of members in the Beatles was 4. They were John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. Several more people were also part of the band at first, but when people talk about the Beatles, it means these 4 who were in the band for the most of the time. Among these 4, John Lennon was fascinated by the guitar that his mother had given him as a present when he was a child. I can be happy just with a guitar. It is an instrument in which I can put my emotions. John already started making rock and roll music when he was 15. The dad of Paul McCartney played piano in a band. Thanks to that, he had the opportunity to learn various instruments from an early age. Among those instruments, Paul was attracted to guitar. He liked playing guitar so much that he even played guitar while he was bathing in a tub. When he was 14, a big tragedy happened to him. His dear mother died of a disease. Sniff, sniff, Mom. Why do you have to leave me this early? Paul wept for days in grief, then made an eulogistic song about his mother with his guitar. He had a talent to sublimate grief into music. George Harrison also started playing music thanks to the guitar his mom bought for him. He practiced guitar alone until his fingers bled. I will play guitars forever. I prefer this over singing. The guitar became a good friend of Quiet George. Ringo Starr was a feeble kid. He would often get hospitalized. One day he came to know a music band of patients from the same hospital. The band was a great emotional relief for despairing Ringo. I want to play in a band, too. Wouldn't it be wonderful if another patient gains hope after listening to my music? Ringo eventually got in a band and played drums as he wished. As if by destiny, these 4, who made connections with music with their own stories, met each other. One day, Paul started to chat with John, who was singing in a chapel. Hey, I have been watching you. You're pretty good with singing and instruments. I like music, too. Would you like to form a music band with me? A band? Sounds fun. John happily agreed to Paul's offer. After that, George joined the 2-man band, and a few people later, it was finally settled that Ringo played the drums. In the meantime, there was a big change in the band. It was none other than the change of the band name. The initial name of the band of John and Paul was the Quarrymen. Then one temporary band member said, "Don't you think our band name is a little out of fashion? I think we better call ourselves the Beatles." Other members applauded and cheered. "I like it. I already feel the strong rhythm from the name." So they started their career as the True Beatles. In 1963, the Beatles finally released their first album. Their song instantly recorded the first place in charts, and requests for performances poured in. "Oh my God, Paul is so cute. John's voice is so dreamy. I feel like I am dreaming now." People were totally in love with these four bowl-cut-haired boys who sang and played in clean suits. Wherever in Britain, their shows sold out in 30 minutes. There was one man who was paying close attention to the success of the Beatles. His name was Brian Epstein, an entrepreneur who believed that the Beatles could make more hit songs. One day, Brian went to see the Beatles. "What do you think of me becoming your manager? I want to make you all international stars beyond Britain." Members of the Beatles were moved by his ambitious dream. Brian put his promise in action as soon as he became the manager. Brian wanted to introduce the Beatles to America more than anything, because it was the biggest stage of pop music. On the 7th of February, 1964, the Beatles finally made their first steps in America. The journalists crowded John F. Kennedy Airport. "We are aware of the fact that the Beatles are very famous in Britain. What do you think? Are you confident that you'll be successful in the biggest music market in the world?" The members smiled and answered yes, simultaneously at the question. They were proud of their music, so they did not get intimidated. The Beatles made an immense success in America as well. Their songs consecutively made the first places in popular song charts. Brian made the Beatles do the show around America. Wherever they went, people clamored, "Dandy gentlemen, you are the Fantastic Four." They were happy hearing the cheers of their fans, but this seemingly endless joy started to change its face. It was because of a very tight schedule. They had to be away from their families often, and they could not easily go to theaters or restaurants. And as time went on, their opinions on the music started to differ. They had to make a serious decision at last. "I think we should separate and make our own music from now on. I want to spend more time with my family as well." So in 1970, the Beatles separated and the fans remained in long-lasting shock.